Keep pushing! Secure that hilltop! Don't give them time to breathe! Someone force fire!
Son of a...
Don't let me die like this! This isn't over! Someone's on fire! This isn't over!
Outriders is massive, both in terms of game length and the numbers of hours you'll be able to pour into it, and the physical distance you'll traverse over the course of the story. So today we're excited to show you more of the journey and structure of Outriders, how you move about the game and how the various features, systems and story all come together. In last month's broadcast we explored the first city, the area of Enoch first settled by the refugees of Earth. Everything from this section of the game unfolded here, in this area of the map. The first city sits within a larger area of colonized Enoch, which you can see here. Here, humans have made a life, as best as they can, and built cities, strongholds, factories, and mines as they try to survive. This is where the Outriders are first reawoken from cryosleep, and where your first hours in the game are spent. Humanity has always struggled to leave this place, with the raging anomaly storms and monsters preventing further colonization of the planet, pushing society back to the Dark Ages. As you will see though, there's a whole lot more to Enoch. As an Outrider, you're one of the few powerful enough to leave humanity's broken settlements and journey out across this hostile planet. But what does that mean in actuality? Outriders takes advantage of a hub-and-spoke structure, connecting busy, settled areas, the hubs, with combat arenas and free roam areas, the spokes. The main story missions push you through the game, and a large number of side quests and additional content can be discovered on or off the beaten path. As side quests scale to your level, so do the rewards. It means even early side quests can be meaningful played late in the game. And it's worth saying side quests aren't fluffy objectives that take place in the same play spaces you've experienced in the main game. They're new, bespoke areas of Enoch that you could miss entirely, and they often reveal more secrets about the world and lore. Let's travel quickly to Eagle Peaks, the snow-capped mountains that encase the war zone, to take on a side quest there.
Is this your whole company?
There used to be more of us. Something happens to the men up in these hills. We hear voices. Some leave and don't come back. Same for anyone who goes looking for them. But maybe an altered could have more luck in finding them. Could you lend a hand?
Distance. We'll keep on.
All right, let's play detective. If I was a missing soldier wandering off into the night hearing voices, where would I go?
Come on! Oh, come on! Don't do this! I just came looking for my friend!
He belongs here now! We all do! Today, the storm welcomes an apostate into its loving embrace!
So it seems the last remaining survivor of our missing soldiers was just sacrificed to the anomaly? We need to have some words with this deadly cult and its leader.
ECA! Overload! Target designated! They've got nowhere to run! I never knocked him, my God!
We're only giving you a small taste of this little side adventure. It takes a fair bit longer to make our way into the inner chambers here. And as always, we like to keep some surprises for you. But it's time now for an epic showdown with the altered cultist leader.
Firing on target! They've got nowhere to run!
Seems you had yourself a little cult brewing up here. I don't know, this place seems to make people flip their fucking lids.
Yeah, nice. By completing the side quest, we can now choose a sweet piece of new gear as a reward. With that sorted, let's talk a little bit more about hubs. In hubs, your weapons are holstered for a time, and you can soak in a bit of life on Enoch. Here you can visit vendors to sell scrap and purchase gear, frequent bars to gather gossip and bounties,
Call it the liver spinner.
and pick up side quests from one of Enoch's many eccentric denizens.
What exactly is your business?
Certain mercenary services?
It's hard to show this without spoilers, but as you progress through the game, the world state and NPC dialogue is affected by pivotal moments from the story, and new side quests unlock, some of which are hidden in earlier hubs and play spaces, further rewarding exploration. Combat feats also come with achievements. Complete a collector's quest like a bounty or monster hunt, and NPCs will recognize and reward your triumphs. In bringing to life a new sci-fi universe, we are adamant that these settled areas feel dynamic and alive. Oh, and if monster hunts piqued your interest, stay tuned for a future broadcast to learn more about them.
Well, this should be interesting.
Crucially, hubs also allow you to check in on your Outriders truck and crew, which will grow as you progress throughout the game. We're going to talk more about the Outriders truck in the future, but its primary function is to transport you through the world, bringing many of the features of a town with it. All the functionality you'd expect from a hub hits the road with you. Your weapon vendor, your crafting, your crew. The truck is a moving RPG village. Now you don't operate the truck yourself. That job falls to your driver, Jakub, who we will talk more about later. But the customization options are vast, so you can personalize your ride along your journey. Okay, let's pack up and hit the road now. I need to head to the forest to continue my journey. Let's take a quick moment to introduce the crew. Your ride or dies accompanying you on your quest to discover the source of the signal. Here we can see Jakub, who drives the truck and can handle any customization of the vehicle. Jakub was with your Outrider during the first arrival on Enoch, 30 years prior. A bright-eyed youth with an exciting life ahead of him on a new planet. Time has not been kind to poor Jakub. Here's Sahidi, who we met in the last broadcast. One of the few people on Enoch with a grasp on science and how to get mankind out of the pickle they happen to find themselves in. You can talk to Sahidi for weapon mods and crafting, We'll be talking more about this topic in the next broadcast. Finally, at least for the moment, there's Bailey, who's been appointed to your team by Corrigan, the Grand Marshal of Trenchtown, who's allowed you travel through the various sectors of the settlement.
Let's go.
Bailey hates the arrangement as much as you do, but is forced to join the journey. In camps like this, Bailey also acts as a gear vendor, with a host of unique weapons and armor you can trade for scrap. Other notable features of a given camp? Your stash, where you can store and withdraw equipment that you might not be able to hold on your person. The stash also allows you to move gear freely between your roster of player-built characters. Next to the hammock here, you'll always be able to change and customize the look of your Outrider. And of course the matchmaking terminal, which is hopefully self-explanatory. Before I'm leaving you for this month's broadcast, I'm going to take you beyond the safe confines of the Forest Enclave. It's a beautiful night, so let's head out there and explore.
Hey, you remember my tunes I used to play?
Like it was yesterday.
I can still remember some of them.
Please stop, Jakob. Please. I'm serious. Yeah, Jakob, I'm disconnecting.
We awoke from one nightmare into another. Not on our dying Earth, but somewhere much worse.
Good guys are day one. A good guy's the one that brings the fire. Good guys are day one. A good guy's the one that...
We came to Enoch as our last chance, a chance at a new home. But what we found didn't save humanity. It consumed it. We awoke changed. The anomaly unleashed within us, burning with power. Impossible power. Enoch robs us of our humanity, yet gives us so much more. Each step taking us further from what we were, and closer to what we must become.
Stories are all waiting to be discovered. Precious resources, allowing for even more powerful gear. This is the place where advanced players really get to test their skills. It's a vicious but highly addictive post-campaign mode we call Expeditions. Check it out, this is how it works. After finishing the main storyline, you'll find yourself in a new camp. Among some other additions, you will notice a new station, with a map showing many new areas for you to explore. Oh, and yes, it's pretty important to point out that you won't play any recycled content from the main campaign. Expeditions are big, handcrafted new levels with their own mechanics, challenges, and storyline. Before you start an expedition, you will notice the introduction of challenge tiers. It's pretty straightforward. The faster you are able to clear a mission, the richer the rewards. One important thing has changed though. You won't get any direct loot from your enemies. Instead, you'll receive all your rewards at the end of an expedition, if you manage to complete it. Don't worry though, We won't leave you completely empty-handed even if you fail all your attempts. In this example, you can score a good chunk of epic and rare loot, plus 3 new tiers. That's because we picked the highest at this moment available tier. You can always go lower to one of the previous unlocked tiers if you feel your strategy or build isn't quite ready yet. To be more precise, your newly earned tiers are needed for 2 things. First, tiers progression unlocks new locations for your team to discover. Unlocking all 15 of them will grant you access to the final expedition, the Eye of the Storm. Second, and similar to our world tier system, selected challenge tiers also determine the difficulty of a mission. Here's the kicker. When we release Outriders, your maximum character level is 30, but your weapons and gear can reach up to level 50 in expeditions. Choosing a challenge tier level will show you the expected enemy level, which is also the same level range of the loot you will receive at the end of a mission. So before you head into an expedition, make sure to adjust your strategy and equipment accordingly. There's no other way to go about this. Expeditions are tough. No wait, let me rephrase that. Expeditions are brutal, but for good reason. This content is intended for battle-hardened Outriders who really want to get creative with the nitty and gritty details of specialized character builds. Feeling like a well-tuned demigod? Then this is the place for you. But you might want to bring some demigod co-op friends along as well. You'll need them. No matter how strong and well-trained you think you are when you head into expeditions for the first time, you will need to become much more if you want to even reach the ultimate challenge. Stoked yet? Good. Before we dive more into expeditions though, we must first touch on another exciting subject that is heavily linked to this game mode. It's one of the most compelling and important core features of Outriders: modding, crafting, and everything in between. Upgrading and modifying your gear is an integral part of Outriders and gives you unparalleled freedom to strive for that perfect build. Dedicated players can experiment with a myriad of combinations to maximize and adapt their effectiveness for any given challenge. It's the foundation for countless hours of fun, and in the case of expeditions, even mandatory for survival. Let's talk about mods first. Mods are passive skills that can significantly alter the way your weapons, armor, or abilities work. For instance, they can add effects to your gunplay irrespective of your class, sticking your enemy with a nasty status effect like freeze, bleed, weaken, toxic, and many more. With rare and specialized mods equipped, you can even get a taste of the powers of a whole different class. For example, Golem's Limp is a legendary shotgun. It will grant its wielder the Devastator's Golem skin for 3 seconds after every killing shot, in this case helping out a Pyromancer. Or maybe you get lucky and find this little gem, which takes a page from the Trickster's book about bending time and space. This mod will hit your opponent with a slow effect like the Trickster's melee attack, but here we see a Technomancer making use of it. So broadly speaking, we're looking at 2 types of mods. General mods, as just described, can be applied to boost or alter how your weapons and armor work. But we also have skill mods, which are class specific. Those bad boys can amplify and change any of your 8 anomaly infused powers per class and can only be applied to armor. Like giving a Trickster a second temporal slice. Or how about increasing the damage, radius and ammo of your Technomancer's rocket launcher? By equipping the Spike Forest mod, a Devastator is able to stick his worries on much more than just one skewer. All our mods are segmented into 3 tiers, and you're able to collect them by dismantling the found gear that holds them. The rarity of a piece will determine what mod tier and amount of mods it might spawn with, except for our legendary gear, which has dedicated mods that can only be found on these specific items. These would be the mods in the tier 3 category, for instance. So far so good. Now here's a really cool thing. Once collected, you can apply and mix match your mods however you want. Let's say you went through hell and back on a challenge, got lucky and walked away with the legendary assault rifle Absolute Zero. Yes, it absolutely wreaks havoc, and freezing bullets are awesome. But you know what's even more awesome? Exactly, frozen enemies that get struck by lightning. So let's get to it. Luckily I found a legendary weapon called Thunderbird earlier in the game. And with my much higher level now, I decided to dismantle it and go for the mods. Quick piece of intel though. If a weapon already has 2 mods slotted, you can only change one of those 2 mods. Now let's select the ultimate Storm Whip mod, the one we scored earlier from the Thunderbird, and the slot on the weapon with the mod we want to replace. Now all we have to do in order to get this new dream weapon build is to spend a little of our resources. In this case, 396 iron. Beautiful. And this is just one little example how you can alter and upgrade every single piece of gear in Outriders. So what else can we do on this crafting table? Improve rarity lets us improve the primary parameters of every item that isn't epic or legendary. There's firepower for weapons and armor for your wearables. By the way, hovering over the crafting options will reveal a color code explaining what rarity is needed for each craft. Here we look at unusual, rare, epic and legendary. Next up, swap variant. Here you can alter how your weapon fires and behaves in the field. Each weapon offers different variants depending on the type of weapon. You can unlock even more variants as your character level progresses. And last but not least, level up. Which is pretty much as straightforward as it sounds. Similar to improved rarity, raising a level of your equipment will boost firepower or armor. I think it's pretty obvious now. If you're really into tinkering with your equipment, Outriders will give you a lot of creative freedom to do just that. With about 350 individual mods across weapons, armor and skills, players have a lot of possibilities to experiment and home in on that perfect build. Also keep in mind, everything we just saw in the crafting department is directly linked to this. Fine-tuning your skills and equipment in conjunction with the skill tree. A skill tree that you can respec at any time without any cost. And this is where things really get interesting. Makes you wonder how deep this rabbit hole goes, doesn't it? Expeditions will challenge you and your team not only on a skill level, but also on how well your builds are tuned and in sync with another. That's why going deep into customization aspects of Outriders is not only super fun, but also vastly improves your lifespan on Enoch in general. Tune and optimize your skill tree for the challenge ahead, and find effective ways to complement the available powers from your Outrider squad mates. Especially when you want to take on higher world tiers in a story campaign.
Welcome to Enoch. Here, if you plan on surviving, you need to rewire your brain for aggression. The scared hide, and the hesitant die. You are neither. You are the aggressor. You are the threat. You are Outriders.